So guys, so I wanted to talk about, just isolation and how it can help you out, with personal self-growth development. When you're isolated, you get to spend time with your internal self and your spirit, you know what I mean? And that's the key. When you have to go through struggles, you're actually building character up, you know what I mean? Through hard work and, preservation. But whenever you feel lonely, it's actually you have more time to bond with yourself and actually get to understand yourself through your habits, you know what I mean? When you're living daily life, not feeling alone, that's the time that God's literally giving you the time to work on yourself, you know what I mean? Like, and when I say work on yourself, not by choosing pleasure over purpose, you know what I mean? You got to choose purpose over pleasure. And a lot of people get that messed up, when you're by yourself, like this phone, bro. This is pleasure, you know what I mean? Like scrolling social media, pleasure. Um, doing all this stuff like drinking, doing all the shit that is making you comfortable is pleasure, bro. And here's the thing with pleasure, bro. It's so addictive. They say sugar is more addictive than cocaine, bro. Pleasure is just as addictive as sugar, you know what I mean? So, you have to understand when you're by yourself, bro, your goal and purpose is to understand who you are as a person. And I know some people, they like to read. You got to find a hobby, And I'm not just saying find a hobby, but just do things that you're not used to so you can build up to it. Like right now, I'm reading a book called Non-Negotiable. Shout out to Leo, shout out to Wes Watson for, you know, um, telling me about this book. But um, this book, bros, like literally, it's amazing how it's amazing how much you can learn from books. And bro, people who call you nerds, people who call you this and that, bro, like, bro, the wisdom comes from books. If you ask God for wisdom, you can't just expect wisdom off the bat. You're not gonna get what you got. He's literally, this is the answer. You gotta read. You gotta read to get the blueprint. The blueprint is all around you right now. You're just not using it to your own advances. Every day we have the gold mine around us, but we're not. We're choosing, pleasure over purpose. And today I want you to look around you, look what you have around you. You know what I mean? And ask yourself, what can I use to better myself as a human being? Is it this video game or is it this book? And that's what you have to. You either got to choose. And some days, some people are gonna choose pleasure over the purpose. But bro, right now you gotta choose purpose over pleasure because you're not gonna attain the value of wisdom that God is trying to give you if you're gonna be gaming all day or looking at a screen, scrolling on social media. You know what I'm saying? Real knowledge comes from books and wisdom and through daily habits and discipline. The real habit of discipline is, discipline is king. If you can literally discipline your plagues internally, then externally you can win all around. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be a hater, you know what I mean? I just want everyone to understand what this means. So when I say externally, meaning the stuff around you, internally is your soul in here that God blesses you with. And so the internal feeling of temptation, that's internal. And so if you can overcome, you know if you can overcome pleasure internally and start looking externally for purposeful things like this book, the purposeful things are gonna go into your soul, and then it's gonna be more internal. If you pick up this book, the knowledge you see around is gonna flow right into your heart, and you're gonna attain all the knowledge. Your body is like a computer. You know what I'm saying? The more you put out, the more you give in, the more you take in. You know what I mean? But you have to understand the universal laws of karmatic debt, and this is what the book talks about. So it's like whatever you're doing in life right now, you have to understand, bro, that it's for a purpose. God does not do anything, without a purpose. But you're choosing, what I'm saying, the pleasure over the purpose. Now, this shit can be boring. Reading, doing the smart shit can be boring, and I get it. But it's like, bro, the people who put the most work in, they take no days off. They cultivate their mind so much that they can, literally they look at the world so differently. You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to understand, man, that you're special, you know what I'm saying? You're blessed, you know what I mean? And do not let anyone get to you and bring you down. And I'm telling you, as a friend, as a YouTube friend, or as a vlogger or a motivational speaker, start doing the things you don't like to do, because the more reputation, you know, as I said, reputation is the mother of skill, the more you will, you know, attain, the more knowledge you will get, you know? So always know that, and I love you guys, so let's keep grinding, let's get it every day, so peace.